Okay, that's working.
Is it on?
It's on. All right, it is 2021. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. If you're on, let us know if you have any questions. And if you jump on later, type your questions below in the comments, and myself or Peter will get right back to you guys. Happy 2021.
Yeah, a lot of changes coming up.
Oh my God. So this is the reason we wanted to do this as quickly as our schedule permitted, to get together to help you guys understand a little bit more what's going on, what's coming, and how to better prepare yourself for this crazy market that we're in, this crazy new world that we're in, new presidents, new changes, all this crazy stuff that we have enough information that hopefully will help you guys make better decisions before you get out there and start shopping for a house. It's definitely it's not like it was before. You can't call him and say, Peter, I found a house. I got, get me pre-qualified. Yeah. That's just not going to work in this market, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But first, let's start with, what do you think is going to happen here? What should we get them prepared for this new year?
Well, it's definitely going to be a new year, new challenges. The market, as we all know, it's crazy hot. It's something we haven't seen. It's a snowstorm of a lot of things that are happening. Yeah. Low rates, obviously low inventory, things like that. So, in order for you guys to get these borrowers to be able to get on the front line, they've got to get themselves ready. That's as Absolutely. Simple as it can get. I'm getting a lot of clients, a lot of calls right now where, hey, I found this house this morning, can you write up a pre-qual? And
it's not gonna happen.
I do my best, but at the end of the day, you should be calling me a lot sooner, because as you know, we're getting 12, 13, 15 offers. I talked to a guy the other day, got 20 plus offers in literally 24 hours.
Yes.
And what they're doing, what these realtors are doing, is they're calling the lenders, and they're looking at each individual offer and saying, hey, they're all full price offer or over asking.
They're all over asking,
right? So that as a realtor, you're saying, you know what, which offer should I go with?
Yeah.
And what determines that is usually the strength of the borrowers.
Correct.
Right? Is this borrower? So the calls that I'm getting is this borrower qualified? Did you run their credit? Did you look at the financials? Did you run it on DU or LP, which basically means, did you get an automated approval? Yeah. Are the funds verified? And I have to tell the realtors, yeah, we verified funds. We ran it on automated underwriting. We verified their corporate tax returns. Have the taxes been filed? Things like that. So depending on how many boxes you check off is going to determine whether to take your offer or not, right? So really the lesson here is, how prepared are you? Because your offer is going to depending on how strong your file is, and also the realtor is going to make a determination on which offer they're going to take based on your financials, right? Correct. So I have to give them that information. So I get too many people that maybe, hey, you got to pay off this credit card in order for you to qualify. Well, if you got to pay off a credit card to qualify,
I'm not going to be able to help you tomorrow to get that house.
You can't do it, today, tomorrow, because it's not going to show up for 30 days.
Yeah. So that's very, very huge, guys. So if you're in the market to buy, and if you follow me on social media, you've seen some of the stories that we've posted. It's exactly like he says, guys. I have not seen one offer that we've made or somebody has made on my clients' listings that is not over asking price. Like, nobody's even offering, the full list price anymore. You got to go above. You got to do something about the appraisal. Are you willing to pay something extra in cash? But the first thing that a listing agent is going to do, no matter how many offers they have, unless you have something for cash that's the same as everything else, fortunately those are going to trump everything and they'll win most of the time. They're going to make a call to the lender. I do it the same for my sellers. I want to make sure, hey, does that person truly qualify? Did you already run an underwriting for them? Did you check that their employment is secure and is not going to be affected by COVID, and they're still going to be employed by the time we close? Because it's happened where we lost the deal 5 days prior to closing. So all these questions I'm going to ask the lender, and if it's not a solid person, a solid financing, I'm going to move on to the next offer. Even if it's $2,000, $3,000 less, whatever the difference is, I'm not going to let my clients suffer because I didn't do my due diligence, and 45 days into the deal, we got to cancel, go back on the market, or go call my backup offers. So it's very, very important, more than ever, that you get pre-qualified with him before you're ready to go shopping for a house. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. If it doesn't, if you have any questions on any of that, just call us or text, and we'll get right back to you to help you get better prepared. So good. I think we have that covered. What else?
So one of the most important questions I get, or most common questions I get a lot is, should I buy? Should I wait? What are interest rates going to do? It's like everybody's kind of in a waiting zone right now. It's the new administration's coming in, and what's going to happen? Well, here's what I can tell you from a lending point of view. So as far as the rates, they're not going up anytime soon, which is great news. And the reason we know that is because the Fed already announced that they're not planning any rate increases, at least until the end of the year. So that's great news.
Yes.
The fact that the rates are this low, they're borrowing money right now literally at 0%. And what that means is the banks can take as much money as they want, pretty much free from the government. And that's not looking to change anytime soon. So for the Fed to come out this early and say, hey, we're not planning on touching the rates, is a good sign for us. So what that means is we're going to have at least till the end of the year the rates that we have right now. So that's great news for us. So the second thing that I get a lot is, what's going to happen to the market? What's happening in Arizona? And as we all know, the inventory is a big issue right now. And I'm going to let you talk a little bit about that because I know you're very in tune as far as, what the inventory is out there, what's happening with the offers and so forth. So maybe you can just kind of...
Absolutely, guys. So just like he says, and this has been going on for probably almost 5 years. Every now and again, you'd get a random person or a client that says, Robert, I know the market is going to crash, so I'm waiting to get a good deal because the market is going to tank again like it did in 2008, 2007, and I'm going to get a good deal. Guys, I've been telling you this for 3 to 5 years. That is not happening in Arizona, at least. I don't know the other states, but I know Arizona. I know our numbers because we deep dive into our data every month with the best analytics person that we know here, the Cromford Report, and I give you guys that data every month. It is not happening, and it's as simple as, like he said, there is just not enough supply for the demand that we have. If there is way more people looking to buy a house than there are houses, there's no way that the prices are going to come down. It just does not happen. It's simple economics, and we just did this deep dive last week for the month of January, and the past 30 days before that, and they looked up at the numbers, guys. For the first 2 weeks of January, we had the lowest inventory in over 20 years.
Wow.
For as long as they've been checking the data or tracking it, that was the lowest inventory we've ever had. Now, is that going to go up a little bit this year? Yes, we hope so. There's different things, and we'll talk about that in a later time. But yes, we hope that's going to get a little bit better, but it's not enough to kill the market or to crash the real estate market. It's just not going to happen, guys. The longer you wait, the more you're going to pay for a house. I've been telling you this for 3 to 4 years. I have clients that I feel so bad for them. They were sitting with cash in hand, pre-qualified 2-3 years ago, and they did not pull the trigger, and they still have not bought anything. They've lost probably $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in equity, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So if you have been thinking about buying, if you've considered it at all, call us, guys. It is still a great time to do it, especially because of the low interest rates. Even if the price goes up, we did a great video on that, on how big of a difference the interest rate makes compared to how much the price will go up. It's crazy. The interest rate is absolutely the biggest, most important factor in keeping your mortgage payment low. And that's why so many investors are out there now buying rental properties, because their interest rate is lower, their mortgage payment is lower, so their cash flow is bigger, even though they're paying more for a house than they would have a year ago. And if they got it, if they figured it out, believe me, guys, they know what they're doing. Call us and we'll explain it to you in more detail. Just get off your chair and stop waiting around. Let's get you in.
2 points I want to make. One is you bring up the rental market. So the rental market right now is booming like crazy.
Fire.
And one of the reasons that's happening is because a lot of the landlords who have had renters saying, "Hey, this market's on fire. I want to sell my house. Let me get top dollar." the renters are now saying, hey, maybe I should buy or maybe I should rent another house. So with the inventory being so low, they're finding it very hard to get it into another rental, right? Yeah. So because of that, it's causing the rental market to go up. A very common question that I get right now, Robert, is, hey, it's starting to feel like 2005, 2006. Are we possibly setting ourselves up for the same market crash that we had in 2006? And let me kind of tell you what I think, okay, and what I'm seeing, okay. So I for number one, being in the mortgage business for 20 plus years, I've been through a few cycles. I've been through the 2005, 2010, 13, and so forth. This is completely different, and I'm going to tell you why. Back in 2005, if you bought a house for $300,000, and that house went up to $350,000 in 3, 4, 5 months, you could immediately tap into that equity. So all of a sudden, you would do a refinance at 100% loan to value and got that $350,000 out. 3 months later, that property went to $400,000. Guess what you were doing?
Same thing.
You would do the same thing. You tap into the market. So what ended up happening is with the banks doing all this 100% financing, nobody had any equity. Yeah. The difference today is you can buy a house with very low down payment, and in some cases zero down, but you can't refinance and tap into that equity. So if you bought a house for $300,000 and you put 3% down, now you're sitting at 97% loan to value, right? You don't have a lot of equity. But right now, all the houses are going up. So now all of a sudden, the $300,000 house went to $350,000, maybe $400,000. You can't call the bank today and say, hey, my house is worth $400,000. Can I get a cash out for refinance or maybe a home equity line of credit for the whole amount? Yeah. You might be able to go to 80, 85% with the home equity line of credit, but you're not going to 100%. So if you have financial problems and you can't make that mortgage payment because you lost your job or whatever may have happened, okay, you're not going into foreclosure because you've got equity. So you're going to sell that house, okay, and try to get something out of it instead of just letting it go to the bank. 100%. In 2007, what happened is nobody had equity, and the moment that $400,000 house went to $350,000, you dumped it. Yeah. Right now, that $400,000 house, if it goes up, $10,000, $20,000, you're probably still sitting on equity, right? So that's the big difference. Is everybody has equity. You talk to your friends, and whoever has bought more than 6 months ago, everybody has equity, but you can't tap into it. The only way you can tap into that equity is if you sell it, yeah. Right? So there's a big difference between 2007 and today. I don't see that happening. Now, is this going to mean that we don't have any foreclosure? Absolutely not. But it's going to be a lot less than, it's not going to be anywhere close to what we had in 2007. Yeah. The other thing is we have a huge net migration that's happening in Arizona right now, and that's what's another driving factor of the economy. Absolutely, right? Yeah. So Arizona right now is at number 3 as far as net migration. Net migration is how many people are moving in and how many people are moving out, right? Yeah. Right now, Florida I think is number 1, Texas is number 2, Arizona is number 3 as far as positive net migration. And then at the bottom, I think we have California number 1, New York number 2, Illinois number 3, and all these you guys can pull up on the internet and get the whole entire list. The point that I'm making is Arizona right now still has a huge positive net migration, which means that the market is going to keep getting stronger and stronger. Absolutely. So, it's hard to predict what's going to happen in 2 years or 3 years, but I think we're pretty safe to assume that at least in the next few months, the market is going to keep going strong. Rates being low, the net migration, with the low inventory, it's a formula for continued appreciation.
Yeah, 100%. And I will have a video that will focus just on that and why there is no market crash coming. And even though it looks like it might be 2007, 2008 because of the pricing, there is nothing else that's the same. And I'll give you guys a lot of those details in that video, but that will be for another time. So, I hope that helps you guys. Is there anything else that we need to talk about? We know the interest rates are going to stay low, so stop waiting around for the prices to go down because they're not going to, guys. As a matter of fact, during the pandemic, over the last 11 months, our appreciation in the Phoenix metro area was higher than any other year in the past 6 or 7 years. I think the average appreciation was like 20-some% in less than a year, guys, in a time of uncertainty and craziness. Okay, the market doesn't care what else is going on. because people need a place to live and there's not enough houses for them to buy. As long as that simple economics stands, which we assume it's got to stand for at least the rest of the year. Like you said, we don't know what's going to happen in a year or two, but we're going to continue to look at the numbers and the statistics. And what I know from our awesome, amazing statisticians, that immigrant accent will still affect me negative. So I don't know how to say that word, but these guys, they know and they tell us that if something is going to have such a drastic change in the market, it does not happen overnight. So let's say the worst case scenario happens and what you think is going to happen and things are going to go bad. It still takes 4, 6, 8 months for the market to adapt to that negative event, whatever that may be. Nothing is going to happen overnight, guys. So if you're still on the sideline, just call us. Maybe it doesn't make sense for you to buy. We don't know. But unless you call us and we sit down and figure it out, you're not going to know. And you're going to keep missing out. And you're going to wake up 2 years from now when you could have bought 3 or 4 years ago, $100,000 of equity out the window just because you kept hoping for something that's not coming. And that's all we want to try to do, guys, is try to help you make the best decision for you and your family and for your future, regardless of what that is. Just call us and let us help you. You don't have to do anything that we tell you, but at least listen to us. If you disagree, no problem. We're still going to love you all the same. But stop listening to Uncle Joe and Cousin It, who maybe sold or bought a house once or twice in their life, and they're experts in this field. This is what we do every day, even on vacation. This is what we do, and we love it. So call us.
Yeah. So the lesson here is we've been saying this for a couple of years now. It's a time to buy, and if you guys would have listened, you would have probably been sitting on a lot of equity.
Absolutely.
But just because you haven't bought doesn't mean that you can't still do it. The market is still very good. The rates are good. Historically, real estate's always going to go up, right? So if you take any, I believe, 20 window in the history of America, you're never going to lose on real estate. Are there dips here and there? Absolutely. But if you look at real estate in general, even if you do take a dip here and there, you're going to win in the long run.
Yeah.
Where a lot of investors and people are getting in right now is if you are going to get into a 3% interest rate loan, right, and you're talking about over a 30-year term, right, this is a tremendous savings. If the rates go up to 4 or 5%, that could save you over $100,000 in interest.
Over the 30 years.
So even if the rates do, even if the prices do take a dip, which I know they won't, you're still going to save just because of the rates that we have today. So, not only do I do mortgages, but I buy in real estate myself, So I know what's out there. I deal with buyers, I deal with realtors. So if you're looking to buy, the lesson here is try to call us or try to call me as early as possible, because what I'm seeing right now is people are calling me sometimes when it's too late. I pull their credit, it's like, oh, you got to pay off this credit card in order to qualify. And their answer is like, oh, no problem, I can pay it off. But the problem is it doesn't update right away.
That takes time.
And sometimes there's little other things that you have to do. You might have a collection that you didn't know about.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Oh, you might have a charge off that popped up from 5 years ago. I can't tell you guys how many times I see that.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking that you may want to get into the market, the lesson is just call us. Get yourself ready, because when it's time to make that offer, you want to be 100% ready.
Yeah. Perfect. So I hope that helps, guys. Let's close with this, though, because this is very important in the time that we're in. If you do decide that this is the year that you need to buy, you guys need to file your taxes right now. The IRS has taken longer than usual to process that whole thing, especially for you self-employed individuals, more important than ever. Get your taxes done right now, submit it to the IRS, pay whatever you got to pay that you owe them, because they're taking like 4 to 6 weeks for
about
that.
6 weeks, yeah. And this is one of our biggest obstacles right now is our people are trying to qualify using 2020 taxes, but the IRS is taking about 6 weeks to process it, right? So if you send them a check for $2,000, that money's going to come out of your account immediately.
Absolutely.
So in your head, you're thinking, oh, my taxes are done. They're e-filed. The money's out. I filed. No. What happens is the IRS will sit on your money. Then they have somebody that actually goes through them and processes them. So when I start doing a loan and I send a form, it's called a 4506 form, 4506T, to the IRS, we say, hey, we just got these taxes from John Doe. Can you verify that these taxes that I got are the same ones that they sent you, meaning the IRS? The IRS will say, hey, we haven't gotten any taxes, even though you submitted them a month ago. Yeah. And we can't close the loan until we get those taxes, right? Yeah. So, submit your taxes as soon as possible if you think you want to buy anytime soon.
Perfect. All right, a lot of good information. We hope that was helpful. And of course, if you are thinking about selling your house, call me right now. It is no better time to do it, guys. It is crazy. Everybody wants your house. I don't care what condition it's in. I don't care where it is. Call me right away because we will get that sold for top dollar no matter where you're at. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a good day, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, let's hope.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you.
We'll see you guys next.